Hey, let's fight here with, I guess, 9 years of major mistakes. 2007, I left the corporate world, my research job at Siemens Medical, and set up shop, if you like, as an internet marketer. I didn't even think of myself as an internet marketer to begin with. I just wanted to make money online. And along the way, I've learned many, many lessons. So what I've done here is I've collected my major mistakes into a very short summary. So this is not meant to be a complete, here are all the insights and this is what you do about it, just to give you a quick primer of where you can save yourself a lot of headache and heartache if you don't make the same mistakes as me. And of course we want to do it the other way around. Oh, help. There we go. I didn't want to press that button. I want to press this button. So number one is being too diversified and not following the model I call now the power of one. All right. So the idea of this is that basically, if you have many, many different projects going at the same time, you will never ever have the energy, time, and resources to go and really optimize one. And by optimize, I mean really figure out how people buy stuff and how they make purchasing decisions and what the best funnel is and how do you maximize profit, all that kind of thing. So testing, optimizing, I think is, for me personally, one of the biggest things where I say, please, if I could travel back in time and tell myself something, it would be this. So because the big insight is anyone can test their way to success. Every time I run a test, I'm still baffled to this day when you go, man, look, this tiny little change has such big effects here. There's a 15% lift. That's 15% extra money for making a tiny, tiny change. Now, related to this is, of course, an insight that took me a long time, and I'll get back to this in a second, is this sort of inner voice telling you this is never going to work. Well, the crazy thing is the market is going to tell you what is going to work. It's not your mind. It's just conjecture. If you make decisions based on your own beliefs. Ultimately, the thing we're doing here is basically testing and optimizing, figuring out, and we do it in order to figure out how people make purchasing decisions and how they give you the maximum amount of money, whilst of course receiving the maximum amount of value. Now, related to this at some level, being too diversified and doing too many things, is this whole crazy notion of launching. There are so many reasons. I could spend an hour talking about why I'm so against launching, and I highly encourage you not to develop anything you're doing around a launch model, because ultimately it sends you down the wrong track. Launching is all based around sales psychology, and the exploitation of sales psychology aside, it's all, at least the way it's being taught, it's never built around the concept of building a proper long-term business. It's always about this short-term kill, the making some quick income, and as a result, it's never structured in such a way that you maximize the learning, the insights, which help you with the testing and optimizing. It's always maximizing money very, very quickly, almost always at the detriment of providing long-term value, providing customer service down the road. And as a result, I'm saying, please don't launch. Do something else. Alrighty, so this is being too diverse and not focusing on that one. The other big thing, and I'm going to zoom through this, is focus on cheap traffic. The big second major mistake is focusing on cheap traffic, which is what I did in the beginning. I fell for there is cheap traffic, there's SEO, and as a result, you never get those insights that are so important, because SEO traffic, although it may be cheap, it doesn't attract typically the right kind of buyers, or right kind of, or if you have a super targeted keyword, it is such a small amount of traffic. Again, you can't test properly. Now, along this whole thing, I mean, it doesn't have to be SEO alone. There's the whole things like you get 1 cent clicks on Facebook, or solo ads for only 50 cents a click and all that. I was like, no, it's not qualified traffic, it's cheap traffic. And what you want is qualified traffic so you can do the thing at the beginning, namely the true insight testing and optimization based on great results from perfect prospects and not from cheap prospects, right? Along the same lines, as many people set the bar too high, they expect to be profitable out of the gate. And I had that expectation in the beginning, and guess what? It never worked out, right? You need to set aside a little bit of money, if it's only $500. And let's face it, if you think, well, $500, I can't afford it. If you can't afford $500, either you're kidding yourself. I mean, you're really trying to do something magical out of nothing, and that is virtually impossible, or you have to invest so much time and energy yourself, and you have to learn so many things that I can almost guarantee you will get sidetracked. So it is not worth not investing those $500, right? But trying to get profitable out of the gate, you have to be extremely lucky. The next one is, if you start focusing on just one niche where there's only one tiny traffic source. Hang on, wrong one. This one here. Again, setting yourself up for failure, not only because there's limited amount of traffic, the second point here, not enough prospects, but more importantly, I think, is that you will end up with a very strongly biased view of the world, namely what you could call myopia. Everything you hear, and it goes back to point number one, getting great feedback from your market. If you have only a small pocket of traffic, they're going to be very, very similar in nature and give you the same kind of insights. And as a result, they determine your future. You will start creating products that fit only this niche, instead of focusing on what you really should be doing, namely focusing on what you are great at, where you can provide great value to the world. And once you've got something like that, that is going to resonate much harder with, or much better with, the rest of the world, as opposed to bending over backwards, putting on a dog and pony show, which almost always ends up in persuasion. And I really, really hate persuasion land, where you provide bonuses, bonus to death, and all that nonsense. So big learning here, focus on, or start looking at markets, bigger markets, where you have different traffic sources and a decent amount of traffic. So you can basically start being yourself, being authentic, and creating real products that are based on your strengths, so you can reach out and really make a difference. And of course, the opposite of that is, if there are too many traffic sources, that's a bit of a problem. It goes back to the power of one. If you have too many traffic sources, it's very easy to get distracted, sidetracked, and do all kinds of things. Alrighty, on to point number 3, which is time. Alright, this whole thing will take time. I mean, as terrible as it sounds, everyone keeps telling you, oh, it's easy, just put together a test and blah 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 blah. Right? A good friend of mine, Kay, let's call him Kay. He's a lawyer, and he's been looking to set up a business consultancy for far too long now. Now, me, myself, right, I've been promising myself to leave the IM world for years now, and I've never really done it, because setting up the other venture I'm doing took longer than I thought. And that's the reality. It takes a whole lot longer than you can ever estimate, because there's so many things. Now, as a side note for this, big learning, take note of this. A lot of people then, especially when they're more organized than me, they come up with plans, great plans. Look, okay, I need to make a plan. I need to develop a landing page. I need to develop an OTO page. I need to develop a thank you page, blah, 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 blah. What they don't do is they go, right, the landing page, what actually needs to be done for the landing page? Well, first of all, we need to have ads that lead to that landing page, so there's consistency between the ad and the landing page. We need to do the research into the major pain points for the people who land on this landing page. Then we need to develop the bullets, and developing those bullets is typically an iterative process of driving traffic to it and seeing what resonates, what doesn't resonate, which means, of course, we need to set up testing for this particular page, and so on and on and on and on. We need to set up the graphics, we need to set up the copy, we need to set up the autoresponder, People go out, okay, landing page, 6 hours, thank you very much, move on. No, it's not 6 hours. If you do this properly, it will take time, a lot more time than you initially think. The other one is, of course, too much input, and we all suffer from it. I've been there. I've bought plenty of shiny objects. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably more like the hundreds. If I look at the many useful and useless coaching programs I bought, including 8 and 15k to Frank Kern, and so on, and they all full of massive holes I could never overcome, and as a result, it's just a massive waste of time and money. Mostly time, actually. That's the bad thing, because in the time I've wasted, I could have, I can earn that money back very easily. So please keep in mind, just in time is the thing you're looking for. If you need something right now, go get it, and don't overcomplicate things. Don't research it to death. Just if it seems like a good fit, go get it. Most things these days have a 30-day, 60-day, 1-year money-back guarantee. Just go and get it and get going. That's far more important than comparing something to death, or of course the opposite of, just in case sometime down the road I might need something, and if I don't need it now, I'll save $10 now. It's not worth it. It's just cluttering up your hard drive. It's cluttering up your life. It's holding you back. Again, it's sitting at the back of your mind. And by the way, buy 50 of those just in case things, and you will have $500 to do that initial testing I mentioned earlier. Alrighty, on to point number 4. Want versus need. I've been there so many times, and it is unbelievable that people buy the stuff they want as opposed to the stuff they need. And it's the classic expert's dilemma. If you're any good at what you're doing, at the thing you want to teach, you know what people should be doing. They are crap at what they're doing because they're not doing the thing they should be doing. Like, people overeat, then stuff their faces with sweet stuff. And what they should be doing is eating a healthy, balanced diet and exercise, right? You know this, and as a result, you typically, at least if you're like me, you tend to tell people what it is they need to be doing as opposed to what it is they want to be doing, right? The very short and the very long story is people will they will do what they want as opposed to what they need to be doing, right? So this is one of the biggest insights, apart from, of course, testing things. And it goes back to the testing thing. You need to figure out what people want to do so you can give it to them, and then once you've grabbed them that way, you can gently guide them over to doing what it is they need to be doing, right? The other big insight this took me a few years to figure out is not respecting where there are 4-quadrant whys. 4-quadrant is a model I've developed. It roughly maps, in a elegant way, the buying decision cycle. So if you have someone who is ready to buy your thing, there's no point making them jump through all kinds of pre-education, pre-selling, blah, blah, blah stuff, right? They want to buy right now. They're ready, money in hand. Whereas someone who doesn't even have clarity on what it is they need, well, in order to get them to pull the trigger and buy, you need to use a lot of persuasion. And the moment you start using a lot of persuasion, it almost always ends up in buyer's remorse, because they cannot take advantage unless they're really lucky. It's a numbers game. A small percentage will be the right fit, and they didn't have clarity. They were completely confused, but they were just the right fit. They will be happy. Everybody else is going to be unhappy and not be buying from you anymore. Like, I never bought anything else from Jeff Walker again, because he got me into his $2,000 program, Product Launch Formula, when I was not ready. Just got me in there. I was completely confused. He disrespected the fact that I was just not ready. I didn't, all the promises made on his sales letter didn't really apply to me. And he can defend that all day long. It's shit marketing, all right? That's the only way I can put it. So not respecting where people are 4-quadrant wise, it's a big, big, bad mistake. And the moment you turn it around and you pre-qualify people in the sense of, I respect where you're at, you can serve them so much better and no longer need to use dodgy sales psychology. Alrighty, let's close this down and move on to point number 5, which is all about confusing the need for significance, wanting to make a difference, and the business model. Like, you've probably been to some personal development seminar, you've read one of the books, and the one thing that keep telling you is, well, you can't feed the world if you're starving yourself, because if you're struggling to make a penny, you can't reach out to a large audience. And it kind of, although I'm saying ego here, it is that thing. It tries to highlight the point that if you're just reaching out and trying to make a difference without looking after your business, you will inevitably only reach out to a very, very small, probably insignificant audience, as opposed to making a real difference in the world. So at every single step, and I've been there, I've done that. That's why I'm highlighting this here. Is it goes to the second point here, myopia. But they love me. I have great open rates. Getting great feedback to my emails. So I shouldn't ask for the sale because people really love my educational or my funny emails. Well, yes, that's wonderful for your ego. But if you're not selling anything and you're educating a few people, well, at some point you need to go and get a day job, right? You need to do something else because just your educational or jokey emails are not paying the bills. And as a result, you can't reach out to the world and make a big difference. So, of course, also the opposite is true. Tying your ego to the whole thing is very, very dangerous because you might very quickly, and I've been there, I've done that, getting my first refund, getting small open rates, having programs flop. I've put out several programs that addressed a need. People should have absolutely gotten it. And what did those idiots do? They bought the stuff they wanted as opposed to the stuff they needed. Now, who's the idiot? That's me, right? I try to sell on need, not on want. So I've done that, and those programs have flopped. And as a result, well, I got discouraged, and I was down. No, there's no point being discouraged. It is not personal. It's just the market giving you feedback, and hence we're back at step 1. Moving on to step 6, and this is ultra, ultra, ultra important. If you're new to this, if and when you're new to this, and every time you start a new venture, which is why I said at the beginning, don't diversify too much, right? The faster you get a good footing, a good track record, a good positive experience, which of course is fantastic for your ego, for your sense of self-worth, for your self-confidence, the sooner you get that, the less you are getting distracted by all this other stuff. And so this point here is putting the product before the Tom. And I, on purpose, didn't say the product before the marketing, right? A lot of people, what you should be doing is putting the marketing or the Tom before the product. Most people, they go out and create this epic thing, right? They create the entire encyclopedia of, let me see if I've got the example here. Mike, where is Mike? Did I mention him? Yeah, Mike, right? This product before Tom manifests as the perfect product. So, a guy, Mike, I know very well. He's a fabulous guy. Tried to create the ultimate product on mobile marketing. He'd never done any real mobile marketing himself. So he went out and compiled all the information he got. He didn't stop at information. He then compiled all the white label products he could get onto mobile marketing. By the time he was done creating this thing, the introduction to just the overview over his course was 2.5 hours of video. That was just the introduction or the overview over everything. And of course, by the time he then reduced that to half an hour, which is still 29 minutes too much, mobile marketing had moved on. And that is basically why I keep saying, and I've been there, I've done that, I've created perfect products, perfect from my perspective, but not perfect from your prospect's perspective. Because these days, especially with ADD being everywhere, what you need to do is you need to figure out why people should listen to you. That is your marketing step number 1 before you create any product. Why should they listen to you? Namely, from their perspective. Goes back to want, goes back to market research at the beginning, step number 1. And how you can steal them away from all the attention-sapping things happening in their lives. Reality is, you having something good that can change people's lives is not going to get them off their butts. I mean, there is, whatever this medieval thing on TV everyone's watching or, was watching, now it's something else. And then there is, Facebook, and there's all that other stuff. And there is competition. Other people have great programs. And if it's good enough or getting them, subdued enough, daytime TV is very, very powerful, then you're not going to get them off their butts. So that's your number 1 job. It's not to go out, create the perfect product, and then figure out you have no idea how to do this. And of course, how people make purchasing decisions. And that is different for every single market. Some markets, impulse decisions. Others, long sales cycles. Some pay only in cash. Others will trade you their organic carrots for your thing. Whatever it is, you need to figure that out before you ever develop a product. Sadly, most people go out and create a product and then, end up with this wonderful thing that doesn't even begin to address the real issues people have. To wrap up, and I think I kind of left that sentence half finished, in this day and age of ADD, people want small, and it goes back to want, small solutions to small problems. If you come in with the giant course, people already know they're not going to finish it. Give them the giant product launch formula thing. That is going to be a good fit for very, very few people. Most people probably have a small subset of those problems, and they'd rather have something where someone goes, I understand your bigger picture problem. Here's the one thing you need to do first. Ignore everything else. Do this one thing. It's only going to take you 6 hours. Sit down, buy my small course. It's not going to cost you too much. Do this now, and you'll be so much happier than going through this giant course. Because let's face it, I have kids, 4 of them, and they, I don't know, cut themselves. Today I'll cut myself. I get distracted. Look, light bulbs to change, all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. It's not only Mike, it's also me and Matthew, right? When we sit together, we are a terrible pair. We come up with endless mind maps as opposed to just sitting down and doing something. So we have to constantly remind ourselves, Matthew, fight, shut up, no more mind map. This mind map you see in front of you is plenty enough because listen, I've already talked for 20 minutes and this mind map would be like 100th of the kind of mastermind maps Matthew and I come up with. So always, always, always come up with why people should listen to you, and they will tell you in your market research how you can steal them from, not stealing in the sense of being a bad competitor or something like that and overwhelming them or using dodgy sales psychology, but in the sense of how to really stand out in this noisy world and grab their attention. How you can grab them might be a better word than stealing them. Alrighty. And finally, we come to point number 7, which is not respecting yourself. Or more specifically, your personality type. So this is what this is about, okay? Most of the time, most of us, especially when you're new to marketing yourself or your idea, or you're trying to break into this world of marketing, you do the stuff you think you should be doing because everybody tells you you should be doing it, whether it's SEO or Facebook advertising or webinars or any of these other things, all right? I'll give you examples. In the beginning, I learned SEO is the one thing I should be doing because, well, guess what? It's free traffic. Hey, am I going to go ignore free traffic or argue with free traffic? No. Tell you what, SEO bores me stiff. I like interacting with people. I medium like doing these recordings here, screen recordings. I really like standing in front of a whiteboard and explaining something. I absolutely love helping people, right? SEO, it's too boring. It's like building backlinks. Oh, please, someone shoot me. Now, CPA, traffic arbitrage, where you buy traffic somewhere and send it to another offer where you have no personal involvement, no emotional connections to that particular offer, bores me even stiffer. Now, don't get me wrong, you can make good money in SEO, or very good money in a few cases. You can make very good money or outstanding money with traffic arbitrage, and yet it bores me stiff. As a result, I won't be doing it. However, it might be right for you. Some people absolutely love that part. Now, meaningless products kill me, which goes back to several things, including launches. The whole launch cycle. People go out and look at the market, and go, "Ooh, what is the current thing that's selling like mad at the moment, and how can I make a twist on that and sell that?" And typically, that makes a lot of money. Yet, no, it kills my soul because and this goes back to the expert's dilemma. I love helping people solve their problems. As a result, I typically end up giving them what they need. Of course, I have learned over the years, and now I first give them what they want, and then that's a nice wrapper around the thing they need to be doing. And most people who are serious about the thing they want to do, they deep down know they need to be doing ultimately the thing they need to be doing, and they already know that. Okay, so it's not such a hard sell. Now, I have started studying. I've practiced teaching in the sense of I read books on this, but also teach online, and I teach in a local school in order to learn how to teach properly. And there is a lot more to it than you think. There's a lot more to teaching than standing in front of a class and going, yeah, blah, 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 blah. And most guys out there just go, or guys and gals, gurus, just go, well, here's the thing that works for me, and now copy it, and if you don't succeed with it, well, it's probably your fault because you didn't follow my plan to the letter. Well, that's not teaching. That is explaining what it is they're doing, but that's not teaching. So, to me, meaningless products are meaningless in the sense of they're devoid of making a real difference. And that's why I do these things. Now, I'm not showing you this in order to show, oh, look, I'm a teacher or something like that. It's more to illustrate you're being told to do things. Like, you should be doing group coaching. You should be doing individual coaching. You should be doing Facebook advertising. You should be doing webinars. You should write your book. I mean, what Experts Academy. Write your own book and you'll be a superstar. Bullshit, right? There will be one thing that is right for you, and there will be many, many things that are wrong for you. For example, the one thing I absolutely excel at is email, right? Writing daily, regular emails. I get so much good feedback. I get it because, A, I've practiced like mad. I've practiced for 7 years now. But also because it's a natural fit for my personality type. This is what I like doing. I like considered arguments. So I look at stuff, don't just blab it out. I tend to sit down, come up with an outline, the pros and cons, and then lay that out quite nicely. And there are enough people in the world who like that particular thing. So, I've got a good track record with email marketing. It's not for everyone. Not everyone is going to like email marketing, right? Now, the last bit then to wrap up is basically you need to go and figure out where you shine. And most likely that's a trial and error thing. In the beginning, I tried blogging, and that really didn't work for me. Social media isn't for me either. I do like forums, I like interacting, but a lot of the social media is a one-way thing. It's kind of this bragging and showing off, and that is not my thing. I mean, I'm happy to use Facebook in a group setting, almost like a forum, to discuss various things with others, but I'm not the kind of thing, Instagram, look at me on the beach, and look at me on whatever, Julia Robertson, and look at me on whatever. It's like, fuck it. Not my thing. Alrighty. I'll wrap this up with, there's another video down below, which I've posted on Facebook. Yes, I do post some stuff on Facebook, and it's basically the big question, which dream has chosen you? And the reason I post up there is because Simon said very nicely in a comment on Facebook that he's still not clear on which dream has chosen him. And that is so common. And I was there 9 years ago now, 2007. When I started out, I was not clear on which dream had chosen me, and I think that is one of the key things, and it's one of the things I'm working with Matthew, and we will do this without a major mind map, and I'm working with Nick on helping people figure out which dream has chosen them, and then how to use the stuff I've just talked about, the various things you should be doing. How to use them in a very quick way so you don't waste too much time figuring out if it really is for you, that dream, or if it's another dream you should be pursuing. Alrighty, so go watch the other video down below about the dream that is choosing you. And if you have any questions, anything about any of these points, leave a comment down below, or of course you know where to find me on email. Just send me an email. Alrighty, cheers, bye.